Hello, this is Taylor Tran, and this is my video discussion over ethical violations and board discipline. For my state of Oklahoma, I was not able to find a public record of disciplinary actions or complaints listed. I did, however, find them for the Louisiana State Board of LPCs. I went through the most recent violations or disciplinary action reviews. And I guess the most common reasons were kind of related to fraud within your licensure. So somebody having a lapsed license, somebody practicing as if they're fully licensed, but they were not yet. So signing off on, I guess, their documentation as a license, but they were still under supervision. And then practicing in a private practice without a licensed clinical supervisor. And then I came across one that was quite shocking, and as we've kind of read within the book, hopefully the most rare form that we will come across, which was inappropriate sexual relationship with a client. So I guess the theme that I noticed with the ones related to fraud within licensure was that it maybe had an indirect impact on client, or there maybe was not listed client harm, whereas the one with the inappropriate sexual relationship would have been direct client harm. And so behaviors that led up to the discipline, I will try to be brief and not graphic with any of them. So there was a period of time where there was relationship building with this. It was a male LPC and a minor female client. So messaging through Snapchat, going to see the client when she was at the hospital being treated, and then telling the client that he skipped his vacation to come see her, inviting the client over to his home to watch a movie, helping the client train her dog. And so I think on the time that she was invited over to the home, that's whenever the sexual violation occurred. So there was a similarity between the conduct that was violated within the Louisiana State Code and the ACA Code of Ethics. So with Louisiana, there was welfare of those served by the licensees. So to respect the dignity at all times and promote the welfare of the clients, avoiding harm and imposing your own values, and then roles and relationships with the client. So having a current sexual interaction with the client. So these listed within the ACA Code of Ethics, A4, avoiding harm and imposing values, A5A, which was sexual or romantic relationships prohibited, A6B, extending your counselor boundaries beyond the conventional parameters, it says, and then A6C, documenting boundary extensions. If there's a time when those extensions happen, you document it, if it was usually intentional, unintentional harm that occurred to the client, and you show evidence of an attempt to remedy any harm. So obviously this was totally the opposite of that. The outcome of the board disciplinary action was revoking the license of the counselor, and that there would have to be a 2-year period before there was any reapplication, otherwise it'd be denied. The former counselor would have to meet all the requirements of a new applicant. If they did reapply, they would have to take continuing education hours related to client boundaries, and the board would have the right to have discretion and place restrictions on any new license that was obtained by the former counselor. So obviously this brings up a lot of questions, I think. So to keep it brief, seeking out employment within a helping profession to do harm, to possibly try to prey on a vulnerable population, and not recognizing your own possible mental impairment within that. So it talks about within the Code of Ethics, not providing services when you are aware of a mental, emotional, or physical impairment. So I think the biggest takeaway is the big principle we talk about of first and foremost, do no harm, was totally disregarded and basically stomped all over. So it just really questions not only the fact that the sexual violation happened, but the sophistication and the grooming that was involved with this counselor and this poor client who's now facing all of these traumas and probably feeling like she's not going to be able to trust a new mental health professional to help her work through this and heal from this because of what happened to her.